another video game system ramble here today. I've done the PS2. It was the N64, right? Today, from the screenshot you've already seen, I'm doing one on the original Xbox. The fucking behemoth of a system. This thing is heavy. It's probably one of the heavier, actually, consoles of all time. And it's huge. Get the nice green disc thing on the box. And the giant X across the front. This thing is built like a tank. You got your power button. Open the disc tray. You got your 4 controller ports as well. Connect the internet there and the usual cables for the AV and power. The original Xbox is a beast, to put it lightly. It does have a hard drive in it, which funny, I first had the GameCube in 01. I did not get a PlayStation in 2000 when it came out. And I was waiting for games to come out for the GameCube. They delayed games like Eternal Darkness. Eventually, I was able to get Eternal Darkness. Played some cool games, but there wasn't enough. I'm like, I need another system. I did get that Dreamcast I talked about in like January of 02 for $20 to use from GameStop. Messed around with that for a bit, sold it. And then in March of 02, I got the original Xbox. First game I had with it was Max Payne. Max Payne's an awesome game. I could have went with Silent Hill 2. I could have went Halo, obviously, but Halo, I'll get into Halo in a few minutes, but I didn't know. I knew of Halo, the game, but I didn't know how incredible it was, I didn't. But I had Max Payne first. Enjoyed the fuck out of Max Payne, it was great. Now, I had actually gotten a memory card when I got this. I should have probably, looked at the box and stuff, but I got home and I was like, wait, this thing has a hard drive in it. I don't need the memory card. I mean, you kind of still would need the memory card if you were going to save some stuff and bring it to a friend's house or something. Play it on another Xbox. But yeah, I was like, oh man. But here's the controller. This controller makes good clicking sounds on the thumbsticks. The shoulders do not make a good sound. Shoulder buttons don't make good sound. You have black and white buttons here. This is the controller S. I do have the Duke, the original one, but it's in a bin behind the cabinets over there. I didn't feel like digging it out just for this video, but I don't mind the Duke. The Duke is almost twice the size of this thing. It was huge. I actually like that controller. It had a different shape, but a lot of people didn't, so they made controller S, which is a nice controller as well. I don't know why these trains are extra loud recently. It's strange. They must have gave them new horns. It's kind of funny. They don't have a ton of trains coming back out from the west when you want to come back out here, but seemingly you fucking hear them constantly as if they do. Like I said, this is the controller S. Cool thing about the Xbox controllers was it had this, the breakaway cable. I thought that was cool because, if you had this thing plugged in, you have a dog or something, even a cat, depending on where your system is, how high off the ground it is, or even if yourself, you just walk into it, this thing would pop away and you're not pulling the controller out completely, and you're not maybe pulling the system off. All that would have taken effort because it is heavy, but I just kind of thought that was a good idea, a good little thing they actually came up with. What the hell? There we go. I thought that was a cool little thing they did. Like I said, there's a hard drive in there. Some games were able to use custom soundtracks. I know State of Emergency was one. I used to put you could burn your CDs onto the Xbox. And if games support custom soundtracks, you can just put them on there from the hard drive. It's really cool. Some of them did it on the 360 as well, but not the original Xbox is the one that did it the most. I do have some games here that I will talk about. Obviously, we'll talk about this one first. This is obviously not my original Halo. This is one I got not too long ago because it was cheap. Halo Combat Evolved, still my favorite Halo game. This was their system seller. I guess I didn't own it first. I borrowed it from a friend. He's like, you gotta check this game out. And I'm like, yeah, I heard about it. And he's like, it's awesome. I played it. And I was like, yeah, this game is sick. I also got Master Chief here, Covenant and stuff. Just a phenomenal shooter. And still, even at that time, you didn't have a lot of good console shooters. Most of those were still, on the PC. A lot of people prefer the mouse and keyboard, for accuracy and stuff, and just kind of, what's the word, precision, I guess, maybe, I don't know what the word would be. This was a phenomenal game, and I played it. I was like, oh my god, this is sick. And the second one was also really good. I pre-ordered the second one. I like this one better than the second. The second one is very short. It's still really good though, but this was it. Like, and the second one, well, this one only had. That's another thing you could do. The Xbox System Link. This is how people would play like serious multiplayer. You'd have to have two TVs. You have two Xboxes. You could link them together. You could do like 8-player multiplayer and shit. I wonder if I want to look at that for a second. Full color manuals too, which is nice. System Link. You could link up to 4 Xbox consoles, so I guess you can go 16 on some of these. I only played some multiplayer. It was not System Link. It was just the split screens in one console, but Halo was amazing, and it's still solid now. The Halo franchise, be it Bungie, who were the originals, obviously it was their franchise first, and then is it 343 does it now? There's never been like a terrible Halo game. Bungie stopped after Reach. The better ones have come from Bungie. I'd say Halo 4 and 5 are weaker in the series, not bad games, but not as classic. And Infinite I really fucking liked a lot, so they did a good job with that one, 343, but classic Halo. I just got some random shit here. Here's another exclusive. They never actually made a second one of this, I'm pretty sure. Blood Wake. And you got the classic only on Xbox. It was so cool. And GameCube had the little one in the corner that said like only on Nintendo or only on GameCube. I'm pretty sure Sony did not have that because Sony just was a different beast. They're like, we don't need to tell you this game's not on other systems. You're gonna know, like, but I always liked the only on Xbox thing on there. I'll say the Xbox sold 30 million units for a new console from a new console from a new company, not a new company, but a company that had not made a home console. Obviously, they did, they were in every fucking computer, but Windows, I should say. But they never made a console, and honestly, they did a good job. In my opinion, it's my favorite Xbox. Between this one, the 360, and the Xbox One. I've not played the Series X or S, so. But there's something about this original one. This was a cool game. Blood Wake, this was a launch title, I think. Yakuza the Reckless Missions was also one, but that ended up getting ported over to the other systems later on. This one did not. But it is a boat combat game. I did not have this originally. I didn't get this till I might have had it. You know what? I think I actually rented it. I didn't own it for a while after though. Like I said, they had this Circus Max, and they had a pretty good launch actually. They had Halo. Project Gotham Racing maybe was out at launch. I don't. Like I said, they had this Reckless. Circus Max was another one. Actually, a pretty good launch for a new system, actually. It was just a cool system, like, and before I got it, it was such a fucking, like, it was all Nintendo. Like, I used to rag on the original Xbox and the PS2. What they call it, the overheat box and scratch station. And then I was like, oh, Nintendo doesn't get third-party support. Or as much third-party support as the other two systems. You can't rely on their exclusives. I mean, they'll do a good job with their exclusives, but there's not enough variety, I feel. This is another early game that I had for the Xbox, Blood Omen 2. I don't know if it was my second game that I had or my third. Pirates: The Legend of Black Cat I had as well. That was an early game. I might have gotten this like a month after second Blood Omen. This is not the people who made the first Blood Omen were the people who did actually Eternal Darkness, I believe, and Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, a couple other games as well. I forget what their fucking studio was called. The second one though, your Kain here, the vampire. The Soul Reaver games are also part of this Legacy of Kain series where you use Raziel, who used to be a vampire, but he got his wings before Kain, and Kain ripped him out and threw him into this abyss, this endless abyss, and then the Elder God, whatever his fucking name, I think it was just the Elder God, giant squid thing that's like endless too, grabs him and saves him, and he becomes the Reaver, and he's the Soul Reaver. Those are really good games too. And then there's Defiance, where you use him and Raziel, but the first one was like a top-down type game. It's completely different than this. What was it? Fuck, I just had the name of that company on the tip of my tongue. They also did Two Human. I think they did X-Men Legends 3, maybe they actually did, that nobody liked. Some kind of X-Men game. What the fuck? What was their name? I have to find out their name. I want to know it before I look it up, but I'm not going to be able to figure it out. No. Let's see. Silicon Knights, that's who it was. Eternal Darkness is a great fucking game. Another game that's going to cost you like $100-something to get now. But yeah, you use Kain. This one, the Seraphon Lords are the enemies. I think actually Raziel originally was, but then they like went into his crypt and turned him into a vampire or something. I think there's aliens or something in this. I forget what they're called. Is it yeah, this one, your like armies are all fucked, and you're regaining your powers and shit. And you can suck blood, you can possess people and shit, and control them briefly. And it's like an invisible kind of turn into a mist. There's all types of cool shit. When I first played it, I thought it was cool as fuck. It holds up, but not like, I don't know. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass now, but cool fucking cover too. I haven't done a cover art review video in a while. You got stuff like this, Age on Fire, which is actually originally had this on the GameCube, but good Bond game. The Xbox had a lot of cool exclusives, and I'm going to count them as console exclusives because a bunch of their shit also came out on PC, but if you weren't a PC gamer or you weren't heavy into PC, you were focusing on the consoles. I'll get to those in a minute. Got the 3 Prince of Persias here. This one is fucking amazing. I haven't played enough of these two. I don't think I've ever actually played this one. I've played some of this one. But everybody does enjoy these games. Here's one that was an exclusive. And some of this one doesn't. This is not my original copy either. The original copy would have had the only on Xbox, and then it ended up getting released on the PS2 and Cube. Dead to Rights fucking game, man. It's very much like a Max Payne. It even does the bullet time type shit. I actually enjoy this more than Max Payne. Use Jack Slate here. The funny thing is, this just had a default difficulty. There was no like hard or easy. I'm pretty sure on this, which they added into the other two. On the PS2 and GameCube, I think they actually might have changed some shit too. This game was sick, man. You got your dog Shadow. You're doing all types of crazy shit, and enemies in some of the levels they just keep fucking coming. You're disarming fools, fucking doing bullet time, slow down, whatever they call it. Your Shadow's going after people. Cool boss fights. When did this come out? 3 or 02? Oh, this is 02 as well. A lot of cool mini games in a prison at some point, briefly. Just a fucking classic fucking game. It's actually very cheap to get if you're anybody's interested in it. Here's a classic I've talked about a million times, Gladius. This is a grid-based strategy game, where you start your battle and you have certain moves you can make and shit like that. It's fucking awesome. Xbox had some of these kind of games, but this game was great. This was on the other systems as well. Never got it. I never got a second game, which is too bad. This is a LucasArts developed game. And I got a survival horror game here, Silent Hill 4 The Room. I pre-ordered this game actually back in the day for the Xbox. The Xbox didn't get a ton of survival horror stuff. They did get Silent Hill 2 and 4. Dino Crisis 3. Like Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth. They had like point and click survival horror type games like Still Life and shit. Curse the Eye of Isis. And they had the first 2 Fatal Frames, which was cool. You see the little thing on the back here. It would tell you like what it does, and it's lit up green. It would be able to do it. Like custom soundtracks and memory units, so you can even save to the memory card, which is strange. Player 1 is in Dolby Digital. I enjoy this game quite a bit. This originally was developed by the same team that did the Silent Hills, but it was supposed to be something else, and then they just turned it to Silent Hill. You use Henry Townsend in this one. And you're trapped in the room. You can't leave in the room. When you're in the room, it's in the first person perspective. Of course, it's a great soundtrack by Akira Yamaoka. Let me see if any of these games have custom soundtracks. Nope. No. You see, that came along later then, because these older games just have the little things on it. They don't have like the full thing. But then this one has all the shit that you could do. None of these have custom soundtracks. I think some of the Burnout games, maybe you could have used it, or maybe for Project Gotham, some of the racing games. On to like exclusives. Let me do some more button pressing here. They did not have 2 shoulder buttons on here, so you get the black and white buttons are like their replacements. I do not like that shoulder button sound. That, yeah. But yeah. This fucking beast had a lot of, or first of all, actually, let me real quickly. My friend's brother had the Xbox, and he actually dropped it down the stairs by accident. My friend was like, yeah, it hit every step, then like bounced off the wall, still worked. This thing was built tough. It had a lot of cool exclusives. The first Fable came out on there. And like I said, some of these ended up on the PC, but a lot of people weren't gaming on PC and the consoles, and if they were, you had like specific things you would play on each thing. I think certain games are kind of tailored towards consoles, while others are tailored towards PC. But like the Knights of the Old Republic, fucking amazing. They couldn't do those games on the other systems. You got Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, which was more of a PC thing. But it needed all that space the Xbox hard drive had. I'm trying to think of how big the Xbox hard drive actually was. It always told you like units. It didn't give you like the gigabyte count. I want to say it was maybe like 8 gigs, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. If anybody knows, let me know. Two Knights of the Old Republic. There was a game suit decky that was cool. I actually got it over Fable, which is like a 4-person gauntlet type game, or like Hunter the Reckoning, shit like that. Like a Baldur's Gate, that type of game. It was pretty cool. What other exclusives were there? Quantum Redshift. It's like a wannabe F-Zero. They had the Star Wars Obi-Wan, I think, was exclusive to the Xbox. That might have been a launch title too, or it came out not too long after the console did. Ninja Gaiden was exclusive for that era, and then it ended up out on the PS3 and shit. And the Vita, I think, ended up with it. But at the time back then, it was only on the Xbox, and it looked fucking amazing. Still does, actually. What else did they have? I said Fable. It's a game called Gun Valkyrie that was made by Sega that was exclusive, which was interesting. Dino Crisis 3, I think, was exclusive as well. Like the Dead or Alives, I think, were exclusive. Tecmo had like a thing with Microsoft. And the thing, a lot of people call the original Xbox kind of the spiritual successor to the Dreamcast. That's why you saw a lot of Sega type shit on it as well. A lot of people consider it the spiritual kind of successor to the Dreamcast. Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth it was on PC as well, because I have it. I just can't play it because I don't have a laptop or computer that runs discs. But it was also on the Xbox. There was a lot of good. Brute Force was another one that got hyped a little too much, but I enjoyed it. That was a 4-person shooter. But the Xbox was a great console and a great debut console from Microsoft. A lot of good exclusives. They had a lot of third-party shit. Didn't have the library of a PS2, but what are you going to do? Had the hard drive in there, custom soundtracks, did some cool stuff. Ended up having online as well a little later on. Crimson Skies is another, the playing game's another sick exclusive for the Xbox. I think that was like the debut of Xbox Live, was Crimson Skies maybe? I don't know. When they debuted it, I think it was Crimson Skies was the first game. And they had other cool exclusives as well that I can't remember all of them. I did own some of them, but I forgot about Brute Force there. Brute Force is another game you can get for cheap. That's like a third-person you can play with 4 players, where you just have one, you control the other people and stuff. And the AI in that was really good as well, similar to like Halo. With smarter enemies. I'm trying to think if I can. Oh, they had their series of NFL Fever, NHL something. Basketball. They had a couple. They had like their series of was NFL Fever. I forget what they were all called, but they did for like a 2 or 3 year period. They had their own sport games that they made, and then they just stopped. And the Project Gothams were on there and shit. Like I said, Fable. Was the first Forza on the original Xbox, or did that debut on the 360? I can't remember. I'm not a super big into racing games, so. And like I said, Quantum Redshift was one. And they did get some ports later on. They ended up getting the GTAs later and shit like that. But yeah, that's just a ramble on the old original Xbox. Hell of a system. That's pretty expensive to buy now. I got this one. This is not my original one. I got this one for $20 at a garage sale in the original box with controllers. It was awesome for $20 back in 2016. So, but yeah, thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.